DBDC has moved to July. Join us in sunny Boston from July the 24th through the 28th, 2019 for a legendary celebration. Welcome back to Approach the Bar with DanceBeat. I'm going to continue with Mr. Edward Simon, his expert analysis of the US Pro National Smooth that happened at the recent USDC in Orlando. So keeping things very, very interesting, into second place with a final analysis of 2-1-2-2, we had, all the way from California, Max and Tatiana. All right, Eddie, spill the beans.
Well, and here again, just talking about keeping it interesting, remember that this couple have lost to the third place couple, the Tufts, quite a few times this year, or a few times. What I feel this couple did well tonight or this weekend was that they got back on track, I'm going to say. In their effort to be very creative, which I really appreciate, I felt last year they kind of went into some strange moments where they had some costuming things and some choreography, and that looked, in one of the reviews I put, and DanceBeat put it very kitschy. And I appreciated they kept trying to be more artistic, but they just crossed lines that they really weren't flattering on the floor. So this time I felt they kept their innovative ideas, but yet still made it very, very classy. And I think that worked for them in their favor. They came out in costuming that was classy. They kept everything in the direction of each dance, really interpreting it while still being creative. And I think that's going to bode well for them, obviously.
Yeah, it was very interesting because being able to watch last night, the first thing that hit me was, wow, Tatiana is dressed in a normal outfit. And her hair's normal, and she doesn't have tattoos on her leg. So I think if I had to be judging, it would have been harder to mark them down because everything was so respectful. Respectful is the wrong word, but the way we expect people to look.
Well, and that's always a hard thing in any style, but especially in American Smooth, there's so many possibilities. I always say there's three components: the closed position techniques, the open partnering techniques, the performing arts techniques. It's the most technical style of all of the styles because it's three sets of techniques. So there's also so much variety that you can have choreographically. But you have to interpret that music that you're hearing and that dance that you're hearing, that you're dancing to. So you have to say, am I being creative just to be creative, or am I being creative in the style that I want to do? And I think that's the thing that they got better at last night, and they didn't detract from that. Like you said, it made it hard to mark them down, you know. So I don't want couples to try to just be normal about everything. That's going to be boring. I mean, that's exciting about Smooth. Be creative, but keep finding ways to make sure it's the essence of the dance or your interpretation of the essence of that dance.
One of the things that I've noticed in a couple of the styles is that I don't think some of the couples, and I'm not talking about Max and Tatiana now, I'm just talking in general, some of the couples don't seem to realize there's a difference between competing and doing a show.
Well, and that is a challenge also, yes, because I remember even my career, sometimes the way that I love to perform a number solo, if I did it on the floor, it didn't come across as well. And it is different, so you do have to take that element into consideration. Still using your creativity, but saying, how does that look on a floor of other dancers moving at the same time in that kind of space? It is different. I think the quality of Max's movement really shone through last night, and I think that really helps. And I think Tatiana was a foil with him and then really added to that without taking away. And I think that was why they had a good result.
Yeah, so guys, thanks for keeping this really, really interesting for us. So, I suppose we all know now who won, but let's go and find out. Please don't go too far away. I have to find some more water for Eddie, and I'm going to fill this up. We will be back with more from the US National Pro Smooth held at the recent USDC in Orlando, Florida.